Hi, this is Skilla from Good Book, Bad Book. This is my April wrap-up. The first book that I read was Shadow and Bone, and that's by Lee Berdugo. It's a book about a girl who finds out that she has magical powers in a fantasy, different era Russia. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I think what I felt it was lacking was a little bit more Russia. They put some very Russian artwork on the cover of it, and I think that the series can be going places, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. Next, I read Ready Player One, and that's by Ernest Cline. I've already posted a review of that one with Crystal. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars because I thought it was spectacular. It is a Matrix meets Charlie and the Chocolate Factory adult sci-fi novel. It's just a big ball of awesomeness, and I really enjoyed it. So I've been recommending it to everybody. Then I read Tangled Threads, and that's by Jennifer Estep. It's the 4th book in the Elemental Assassin series. This is a paranormal sort of romance series. There's some romantic elements to the whole series, but it's not really in your face about it, especially not this one. Her love interest isn't like all up in your face the whole time with her trying to, but it's a pretty quick read, and if you like the Sookie Stackhouse series, this is probably a series you would like. I feel like it's better written than those, and I probably won't give up on the 5th book like I did with the Sookie Stackhouse books. And I gave that 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. The next book I read was Crooked House, and that is by Miss Agatha Christie. This is, I believe, the 3rd book by Agatha Christie that I've read. I really liked it. It's very creepy. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. It's got an interesting twist at the end, probably a good read for people who are kind of starting out with Agatha Christie and want to get a feel for how she tricks you. She always tricks you in the end. The next book that I read was John Dies at the End by David Wong. I really like this. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. It's very stream of consciousness, so if you don't like that style of book, then you don't need to read it. But I do like that style of book, and so I thought it was pretty awesome. But the characters are really fun, and the setting's really fun, and it has to do with trying to stop horrible apocalypse type things from happening. And don't let the name fool you. It seems like it's a giant spoiler in the title, but honestly, you'll just read it if it sounds interesting. When it's definitely a book that I should have read a while back. The next book that I read was The Perks of Being a Wallflower, and that is by Mr. Stephen Chbosky. I don't know how to pronounce that. But yes, it is a #1 New York Times bestseller made into a movie that I enjoyed. I did not read this book when I was in high school like most other people did, so I probably didn't enjoy it as much as I would have if I'd read it when I was a teenager. It's very cute, but it also deals with a lot of very serious issues. I gave it 4 out of 5, probably would have been 5 out of 5 if I'd read it in the time in my life when it would have most impacted me. Next book was A Universe from Nothing by Mr. Lawrence Krauss. It is all about the universe coming from nothing, and it explains all sorts of cool stuff about science and things and physics and dark matter and universes and all that good sciencey stuff that I get all nerdy about. So it's kind of good for me because I'm not super awesome at science, but I like to read about it and learn new things. So if you want to learn new things, read a book by Lawrence Krauss. It was good, it was funny, sometimes a little hard to follow, I guess, but that's just because I'm not a scientist, so yeah. But I liked it. 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was For Colored Girls Who Have Considered Suicide When the Rainbow is Enough This book is written as a poem and a play. It was originally performed in the 70s. It is by Tozaki Sheng is what I'm going to say. There is no way that's correct. Anyway, it's very short. You can read it in a sitting. I read it in a sitting, and I am a slow reader. I understand why lots of people crazy love this book. Like, it is written in dialect, and I do not like reading dialect. I like to think of the dialect in my head, and that's all I need. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars because there are parts of this book that I very much loved. There's some wording in it that I just kind of is touching, you know? And it's a very fast read. If it had taken me a really long time to read it, I probably wouldn't have given it 3 stars. I probably would have given it like 2 if it had been a lot longer. But because it is such a quick read, it's worth the read. If you enjoy anything about women's issues and race relations, then give it a go. It's not going to take you long to read. The next book that I read was All the Mowgli Stories, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars because it is perfect. My version of All the Mowgli Stories is all of the stories about Mowgli from the Jungle Book put in chronological order, and it's super cute, and it's really good for anybody who likes historical kids books, or classic kids books, I guess is a better way to word it. If you like the Jungle Book, then you should pick it up because it puts everything in order. It's got all of the little poems in there that have to do with Mowgli's life, and Rudyard Kipling is the author, and he was a crazy, awesome genius because it's beautiful. And if you like Alice in Wonderland, or if you like the L. Frank Baum books, then you should probably pick it up if you haven't read it already. It's lovely and adorable and touching and allegorical and great. So 5 out of 5 stars for All the Mowgli Stories. But the next one I read was The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne, and this is my beautiful copy of The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. It's got those deckled edges. It's got those faux flaps on the inside. It's beautiful, and I love the artwork. But aside from the artwork, the writing is like artwork. It is perfectly worded, and the characters are very good characters. And reading it is almost like reading poetry because it's so beautifully written. And I know there's a lot of haters for the Scarlet Letter out there, but I am not one of them. I didn't read it in high school. This is my first time reading it, and I adored it. I think it is excellent. The last book that I read this month is called Melatonin, and that's by my friend John Durden, and it is unlike anything else I've ever read before, and you should go pick it up. You can get it at Books A Million or Amazon.com. And it is written from 2 different perspectives. One of them's name is Melatonin, the other one's name is Andy, and it's kind of fantasy, but it's also very contemporary. Those 2 characters kind of live in different worlds, and kind of when one of them goes to sleep, the other one's story begins. But it's really cool. It's, again, different from anything else that I've ever read, and I love that a friend of mine wrote it. Go and pick it up, support local authors, it's good for everybody. Here are the 11 books that I read this month, and I hope to see you again soon with me and Crystal's review of John Dies at the End.